Good morning, students. This is Ms. Lamb. This week we will be working on parallel lines cut by transversals and the angles and angle relationships that they form. What I need you to keep in mind is all materials that you will need will be easily accessible to you via the Google Classroom. There is no need to worry about any type of passwords or cyber security issues because everything has been linked to Google Classroom. So, what we're going to do is everything is in order in which you should complete the assignments. So when you open Google Classroom, you will see there are two modules. The first module is titled Parallel Lines and Transversals Basics. This is where we will begin this week. You're going to read the introduction. After reading the introduction, it will give you a feel for the content that we're going to cover. After completing the introduction, there is a link in the next assignment to a Nearpod assignment. That Nearpod is an interactive video. You will need to watch the Nearpod and answer all of the questions in order to receive class participation points. After you completed the Nearpod, you will go to Desmos. Hopefully, you thought and took the time to take notes during the video because that will be very instrumental to helping you try to work through a couple questions on Desmos. Remember, Desmos is an interactive digital platform that helps you to learn how to use geometry terminology in real-world settings. Of course, we will have our Zoom session. And during the Zoom session, I have already taken the time to give you access to the slideshow, which you can download or print off, whichever one makes you happy and is easier for you, as well as you have access to guided notes and one graphic organizer. Please take the time to download those materials and use them so they will be there as a guide. After we complete the Desmos in the first module, we will move to Flipgrid, where you will say tell us what you thought you knew, what you learned, and some things that have helped you in the material. After you've completed the Flipgrid, there is a project assignment for Google Draw. All of those instructions are available to you in Google Classroom, as well as a rubric that will tell you what I'm looking for in order for you to get the best grade possible. Unit 2 is titled Parallel Lines Cut by Transversals, Solving for the Missing Angle. Now, in this unit, we're going to take what we learned in the previous unit and build upon it. So all those vocabulary terms that we learned and we addressed and readdressed in Unit 1, we're going to actually use them and apply those vocabulary terms to being able to find the missing angle. Once again, you will have a warm-up activity. This time it will be a discussion question. You will then go to Nearpod and then use the information from Nearpod to go to Desmos and work through a few problems. You will have your Zoom meeting at its scheduled time, and from there you will complete a class Jamboard where you will interact with your classmates in filling in and answering definitions for vocabulary words, providing images of them, and working through practice problems. You can also leave tips and tricks that you learned along the way to help you better understand the information so you can help someone else later on. After you've completed that, there is a link to a Kahoot quiz. The Kahoot quiz, as always, is self-paced, so do not worry about question timing, as that is not going to impact your grade. As always, if you have any questions that you need help with, you do have access to my email address. You can send me an email. You also have access to my personal meeting room and my office hours. And we can schedule a meeting for you during office hours and we can address any problems that you may have. Do not wait until the last minute to reach out and tell me that you need help. I'm always here for you, and let's make this week a great week. Also, students, I would like to remind you to be aware of plagiarism and cheating. In your discussion question, I did allow you to use outside resources if need be, if you were not quite sure on how to word your personal definitions, and answer a few questions. If you do decide to use outside resources such as Google or your textbook, please use proper citations for those resources. In this class, we use APA formatting. So be sure to use citations at the end of your discussion questions for APA formatting. Failure to do so, if I discover that you have plagiarized, will result in no credit being given. Desmos is not an activity that will allow you to cheat because those are interactive, but it will give you feedback each step of the way, letting you know whether or not what you did was truly correct. And it will try to guide you, as well as I will go back and leave commentary on each Desmos problem and try to direct you in the right way so that you get the correct answers. Be sure that all discussion question posts and Jamboards are school appropriate language and you are being polite to each other. Failure to do so will result in no credit being given and a notice being sent home to your parent. All work is to be turned in on time and to your best capabilities. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Lamb.